Apple Music seems to be cracking down when it comes to releasing AI music on DistroKid. So I'm on DistroKid right now on the uploading forum. One thing I do want to say is I'm actually traveling right now, hence the kind of odd angle on this video, I know, but I did want to do a video about this. Because I go all the way down here, this is new, right? You can see now, boom, Apple Music additional requirements. One thing I want to say is one, this is new, like I said, and two, this is only for Apple Music. And it's tough to say exactly, is this a result of AI music and them trying to crack down on it, or is it something else, right? It is kind of tough to say exactly, but you can see right here that now Apple Music requires at least one performer and producer credit for each song. If you skip this step, you cannot release on Apple Music and iTunes. So if you do want to do this, you're going to go to add credits for each song on this release. Boom. Now, once I do, you can see here, I have the song title, which is whatever it is. I have the performer and then the producer. So take, let's say, my EDM artist. I think producer is pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to do producer. Of course, I have a lot of options here. So let's say producer just as the general one. But then performer. All these different instruments, vocals. I think if I'm actually doing EDM, I'd probably just do maybe like synthesizer. I think makes the most sense. But you can see right now that this is their way, and it's tough to say exactly, right? It is tough to say exactly, but it almost kind of seems like this is their way that in some way, shape, and form is trying to crack down on releasing AI music, that now you need to provide a bit more of information. Now, being honest, it is tough to say what exactly is going on. A couple interesting things about this, though, that's kind of just unique to me, or kind of weird, if that's the right word. One, I looked on Reddit, other forums, posts to see like what people thought about this. One is other people said when using Lander or other independent music distributing services like DistroKid, so like CD Baby, TuneCore, this did not exist. So it could be maybe that Apple Music is rolling this out to all music distributors, which I think would make the most sense, mainly because music distributors are at the mercy. A lot of people forget this. Music distributors are at the mercy of what these streaming services want. So if Apple Music says you have to jump this high, DistroKid says, okay, we're going to do that, right? So in this case, this might be a new policy when it comes to Apple Music, and it seems like it is. Maybe DistroKid is the first one to implement it. In addition, DistroKid right now is definitely the most popular distribution service. So maybe Apple Music said, okay, we're going to do this, but we're going to start with DistroKid, or maybe we're going to primarily target DistroKid just because of how big of an issue this is becoming. Now, AI music is getting more popular by the day, and people are releasing it more frequently by the day. It's a huge thing. I'd say for me, which is kind of interesting, I did release, this is like, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, the best AI music that I've made. It was all through Suno, and I just call it like an AI playlist. And it was the first time for me that I actually listened to my own AI music, right? When I was working out, and I've been listening to AI music more and more. Kind of odd that, I've only listened to human music my entire life, if I were like that. Now I'm actually preferring some of the AI music when just working out or for background music, right? So AI music is continuing to get more popular. And I've mentioned this before in other videos that it is this kind of odd cat and mouse game where stores can't really say, hey, no AI music. They can't really say that because how do you know if a song's made by AI or not? At this point now, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, it's kind of impossible, right? It is very, very tough to say. And I think as a result of that, that's what's making things so complicated, where different stores, like Apple Music, it seems like, says, okay, we can't explicitly state that you can't release AI music, because how do we know if it's AI or not? So let's see if we can find a way to kind of crack down a little bit. Here's where things get a bit tricky, and I hate to say it gets a bit tricky, is how do they know you're not lying? Like, what if I put that the producer, let's say a made in AI music. How do I not know that, let's say, the AI music or the producer of AI music is Joe Schmo? And I could just put Joe Schmo as a producer. What if, let's say, when it comes to the performer, I pick oboe, and the oboist was Bob Smith, and I just made that up? There isn't really any foolproof way to kind of combat that or argue it or police it. And I do think this is a good first step. At least it's like a first step of being like, okay, they want more information. And I can see maybe their perspective being like, let's just start here and like kind of see where that goes. I feel like I can see that as like a good first step, at least in their eyes. But it's very easy to fake this. Hate to say it. I think it's very easy to fake it. What is a solution to cracking down on AI music if stores want to do that? I don't know. But a lot of people brought this up in the comments because I've done a lot of videos about AI music. They're all in the description in a playlist. And a lot of people brought up this point that, look, if let's say you're Spotify, you probably don't care if it's an AI song or human song or whatever. If people are using your platform, paying money for it, and they want to listen to an AI song, why would they care? It's almost like if, like, say, take a store like 7-Eleven or Walmart or Target or a convenience store. If, like, said you had a human-made sports drink like Gatorade, then, like, say one day it comes out that AI, and there's an AI company, which might be a thing in the future, there's an AI company that made an AI sports drink. And it's a sports drink, and it tastes good, similar to Gatorade or Powerade, one of the competitors, but it's all made by AI. Maybe people could complain, be like, oh, no, I only want to drink the human-made sports drink. But at the end of the day, 7-Eleven wouldn't really care. They're like, hey, if we're getting a cut of the profits, AI or not, as long as we make the money, as long as we get the money, we don't care. And I think a lot of streaming services maybe feel that way too. That they're like, okay, we prefer human music, but look, if, let's say, someone streams this one AI song on Spotify, we're going to get some kind of cut of that and somebody should perform in terms of people using the platform. And a lot of people have commented on this channel as well who are more on the listening side. And I get it. This is kind of like this odd, tricky thing of being like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to lie. If I listen to a song and it's good, whether it's made by AI or not, I don't care. And for me personally, I kind of see that perspective because I have listened to my own AI music, like I just said, while working out, doing kind of stuff. So again, it becomes this cat and mouse game. It's becoming a massive, I don't want to use the word mess, but I think at this point, at this stage in the game, no one really knows how to navigate it. I don't think the streaming services know. I don't think the distributors know. I think they're pretty clear cut on the fact that, if you're releasing it, it seems to be okay, even though it seems like this is kind of like a minor crackdown. Because you have two different camps or groups of people when it comes to AI music. And this is where things get even more tricky. You have some people like me, for example, who release music saying, hey, I'm an AI artist. Now, for me, I will say, I am a human artist. For Chero was my main project. But then I have the Infinite Lamb Shop. That is my AI artist. I do it for fun, more of an experiment, more of a fun thing, to make videos like this. But I'm very vocal saying, hey, this is an AI artist. I'm not pretending to be the Infinite Lamb Shop. I don't pretend to make these songs. This is all the Infinite Lamb Shop and AI music. However, there are a lot of other artists, and I personally know some, and I'm not going to say any names, but I personally know some artists who used to know a UDO, release the music, and pretend like it's theirs. That's where it becomes this kind of cat and mouse game where if someone says like, hey, like, okay, you're releasing this song, like, is it AI? And you're like, no, it's my song. How do you police that? Like, do you have to show now your Ableton project file or your FL Studio or your whatever DAW you use? Do you have to like prove that it's your song? Do you have to show the mix down? Like, this is where it gets kind of like cat and mouse game where it's like, I think it's not impossible to police, but pretty difficult. And I think that this is maybe the first step that I've seen that seems like stores, or in this case, just Apple Music, is starting to crack down on this without saying they're cracking down on it. I think, and I've said that before, that there's not been really any big flying banner-like news articles or statements of AI music from any distributor I've seen. I mean, I will say this. I did put like an official, put that in quotation marks, I guess, DistroKid statement. DistroKid hasn't really said anything publicly, but I did reach out to their support. I did do a video about this. They said, yeah, like as long as you have the rights to it, in the sense that it's not using any copyrighted work, meaning it's truly made from scratch and it's from an AI music generator, you can release it on DistroKid. But it's not an official statement. If I put an official statement, it's not like DistroKid came out or, or whatever. But a lot of streaming services have kind of kept quiet about this because it's like, and I've said this before in other videos, they can't say, hey, you can do it because that opens up the floodgates. They also say you can't because it's like, how do you know if it's AI or not? And again, there's probably different programming ways to do it. I can think of a few, but it becomes this odd thing. And I think this is the first step, like I said, of at least one store trying to crack down on it in an odd way. And I can see, if I had to be honest, some AI musicians, put that heavy quotation marks as well, saying, oh shoot, I was going to release this AI song, but this Apple Music thing, the crediting, I don't know how to answer this. Maybe I'm not going to release it, or maybe I can't. I could see it stopping some people. But for most people using AI to create music, they're probably going to make something up. I mean, again, how do you police it? How do you not know that Joe Schmo, I could put Ash Ketchum as the producer and Ash Ketchum as the synthesizer performer, I guess. The synthesizer performer. I could put Ash Ketchum. Is Apple Music really going to ask me for verification that Ash Ketchum was, again, this is where it becomes kind of a tricky thing. But I think the moral of the story for me, the big picture meta perspective, not just the tree but the forest, is this. This is a sign that stores might not like AI music. I don't know. Because like I said earlier, there's been a lot of comments on this channel, which I kind of agree with, saying, hey, whether it's AI or human, if stores are having people listen to music on their services, why would they care? And on one end, I get that perspective. Like I said, if 7-Eleven was releasing one Gatorade, but then another sports drink competitor that was only made by AI, 7-Eleven probably wouldn't care. As long as it's a good product and people like it and it's healthy, AI, human, who cares? If we're making money, we're making money. And I think a lot of streaming services might have the same perspective, but also maybe not. Maybe some services say, hey, yeah, okay, maybe more people might listen to our platform if they really like this AI music. Maybe more people will stream it and we get more traffic. But maybe we don't want to promote this culture of AI music and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. That's obviously, I think, something behind closed doors. It also brings up, this whole, I might even say like ethical thing of, is it like, but I think at the end of the day, I think for most people, I'm going to say 99% of people, because remember, if you're watching this video, especially up until this point, you're probably a producer or a musician or you're interested in this. But for 99% of people, they're like, hey, if it's good, it's good. And for 99, I might even say maybe 99 and a half, maybe even closer to 100% of people now, even if you're a producer, you probably were not, especially next year in 2025, I'm guessing, will not be able to tell if it's AI or not. We're at that point now. It's that dang good, right? So a lot of interesting things that I feel like, although this is a small thing, it's like sometimes a small thing can be a big telling sign of maybe what's potentially to come. I don't know, but Apple Music seems like it's starting to crack down, and this may be the first breadcrumb, a first minor small step for other things to start happening.